Donald Trump's presidency was always going to be controversial. From the moment he stepped into the Oval Office, his every move was met with both cheers and outrage. But even his most ardent supporters must admit that his time in office was overshadowed by a constant stream of scandals and accusations. From allegations of financial impropriety to accusations of obstruction of justice, Trump's presidency was rarely dull. One of the most consistent themes of Trump's presidency was his willingness to challenge the status quo. This was evident in his approach to foreign policy, his trade negotiations, and even his use of social media. While some applauded his unconventional approach, others saw it as reckless and dangerous. As Trump prepares to leave office, it is clear that his presidency will be remembered as one of the most divisive in American history. His supporters view him as a fearless outsider who challenged the Washington establishment. His detractors see him as a dangerous demagogue who eroded democratic norms and institutions. Only time will tell what the ultimate legacy of Donald Trump's presidency will be. But one thing is certain, it will be debated for years to come. Donald Trump's approach to trade was a defining aspect of his presidency. He believed that other countries were taking advantage of the United States, and he vowed to renegotiate trade deals to get a better deal for American workers. One of his primary tools in this effort was tariffs, which are taxes on imported goods. Trump imposed tariffs on goods from several countries, most notably China. He argued that these tariffs were necessary to protect American jobs and industries. However, critics argued that the tariffs were actually hurting the American economy by raising prices for consumers and businesses. The trade war with China had a significant impact on the global economy. It led to uncertainty and volatility in the markets, and it disrupted supply chains around the world. While the trade war did result in some concessions from China, it is unclear whether the benefits outweighed the costs. Trump's use of tariffs was controversial, but it was also a reflection of his broader America First agenda. He believed that the United States had been taken advantage of in trade deals for too long, and he was determined to change that. Whether his approach was ultimately successful is a matter of debate, but there is no doubt that it had a profound impact on the global economy. Throughout his presidency, Donald Trump was no stranger to legal and political turmoil. From the moment he took office, he faced accusations of wrongdoing, leading to numerous investigations and legal challenges. These controversies cast a long shadow over his administration, dominating headlines and fueling partisan divisions. One of the most significant legal battles Trump faced was the investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election. Special counsel Robert Mueller was appointed to investigate potential collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia, as well as possible obstruction of justice by Trump himself. The investigation lasted for nearly 2 years and captivated the nation, but ultimately did not find sufficient evidence to establish a criminal conspiracy between the Trump campaign and Russia. In addition to the Mueller investigation, Trump faced numerous other legal challenges, including allegations of campaign finance violations, obstruction of justice in the Russia investigation, and abuse of power. He was impeached by the House of Representatives twice, once for abuse of power and obstruction of justice related to his dealings with Ukraine, and again for inciting the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. However, he was acquitted by the Senate both times. These legal battles and political storms took a toll on Trump's presidency, diverting attention from his policy agenda and eroding public trust in his administration. They also deepened the partisan divide in the United States, as his supporters rallied behind him and his detractors became more convinced of his wrongdoing. The 2024 presidential election was one of the most contentious and divisive in American history. Donald Trump, fueled by unsubstantiated claims of widespread voter fraud, sought to overturn the results, further deepening the political chasm that had been widening for years. The nation watched with bated breath as the drama unfolded, culminating in legal challenges, protests, and ultimately Trump's acceptance of defeat. Trump and his allies made numerous allegations of voter fraud, particularly in key battleground states like Pennsylvania. They claimed that there were more votes cast than registered voters, that voting machines were rigged, and that mail-in ballots were susceptible to fraud. However, despite their claims, no credible evidence of widespread voter fraud was ever presented. Despite the lack of evidence, Trump's rhetoric resonated with his base, many of whom believed that the election had been stolen from him. This led to protests and demonstrations across the country, with some even calling for violence. The situation was further exacerbated by social media, where misinformation and conspiracy theories spread like wildfire. In the end, Trump's legal challenges to the election results were unsuccessful. Courts across the country, including the Supreme Court, dismissed his claims due to a lack of evidence. Facing mounting pressure and the threat of further legal action, Trump eventually conceded the election, albeit grudgingly. The 2024 election exposed the deep divisions that exist within American society. It highlighted the dangers of misinformation, the erosion of trust in democratic institutions, and the fragility of the peaceful transfer of power. As the nation moves forward, it must confront these challenges head-on in order to heal the wounds of division and safeguard the future of American democracy.